All right. All right. You know?
All right.
Welcome to the audio commentary for Prison Witch, Volume 2, The Dark Phase.
Yee.
Written...
I'm your hype man.
Written by my nasty wife, Amy
me.
Shan.
I'm here.
Co-written by her nasty husband, Pat Shan.
Yeah.
Drawn by Erica D'Urso. Wonderful. Mm-hmm. And lettered by Jim Campbell, my boo, you know?
Wow.
Even when I'm with my boo.
Does Jim know that?
Jim Campbell.
Yeah.
Don't forget the editor, bro.
I was doing the boo bit.
All right, go ahead.
God.
The boo.
Damn it.
Thinks he's Kelly Rowland.
And of course we have editor extraordinaire, editor-in-chief of Space Between, Shannon Lee.
Hi.
Right here in the house.
Not your boo?
No.
Wow, she doesn't get a freaking song.
I'm monogamous to Jim Campbell.
Wow.
All right, so we have two covers. We have one covered by Natasha Altarisi, who you might know from Heathen, a great book from Bald Comics. Mm-hmm. Here we have our lead character, Cam, our new character, Sylvie, and our big bad of Prison Witch, Diane.
Big, bad, and bald.
Big, bad, and bald. You know? And she's looking quite creepy here. You know, she's the puppet master. She has no color to her eyes. She's tripping.
Creepy.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a beautiful cover. I love how Natasha, she has the bars and the smoke in the same kind of color. We see the parts of the bar that the smoke catches. Very, very beautiful here.
Fun.
And,
Nice contrast.
Yeah. And then we have our interior artist, Erica D'Urso, for Prison Witch 2. Did her first cover for the series with the Kickstarter variant cover, which has a good portion of our cast. You know, we tried to fit in as many as we could. Mm-hmm. On the top half, in the real world, and then we have a hint at what happens in the actual book by seeing Nama in the dream world here.
Yeah, that one's super cool.
I do like that bottom half idea. It's very neat.
And it was... I remember Shannon and I struggled to kind of figure out how to do the spine and the back of the book, you know, but
I think it came out really cool.
I had an idea to do something like this, and I showed you, and you were like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't fucking know either, you know? But Jim made it work. Jim, I'll show these artists ideas that I have, and sometimes, so I have no artistic... like technical illustrator talent. Like my art is purely writing, you know? But I'll see something in my head and I'll try to make it happen. And in this case, I didn't, but Jim somehow tapped into what I meant.
Yeah.
You know? So very, very good on Jim's
I love
part.
when that happens.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so let's get into the narrative here. This is Volume 2. We left off in Volume 1 where Cam has... come to peace with the idea that the force inside of her Nama that she thought was a demon is in actuality part of her.
Yeah, she thought she could get rid of Nama, but Nama was just in her all along.
Exactly. Yeah, and joining this coven has enabled her to, to embrace that part of herself and look for peace in what Nama is.
Yeah, it's like a thing of like, not like control, but almost like control, because at first she felt so out of control and she thought like she has like maybe like a sickness or she's like possessed with something, whereas when she realizes, it's like just something within her and that she can tap into it, it's more that she can understand it to control it, sort of, instead of be rid of it.
Yeah, it's like it's that internal rage, like, You can know that you're an angry person and try to, quell the urge to lash out. Mm-hmm. And that's, what my wife goes through.
Right. There's no, like, magic potion that's like, okay, all of a sudden you don't, get seethingly mad anymore. Now you're, like, fixed. Like, that's not how it works. You have to kind of, like, you have to embrace those feelings and nurture them just like the child feelings in her in order to like be able to deal with them.
Yeah, we when we first envisioned Prison Witch and Nama, you based a lot of Nama on experiences that they've had before. I mean, the reason that Cam goes to jail in the series is based on an interaction that you had at a concert, you know? And you didn't act out how Cam did.
She did go to jail, but
Yeah, she did go to jail, you know. This is actually visitation hours. You know?
We're squeezing this in.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think that people relate to that, you know. I personally, you know, I love my family, but my dad, you know, could be a bit of an angry person sometimes. And I grew up telling myself that I want to, when I'm angry, handle myself with more peace and like less yelling, I guess, you know? I mean, and less condescension. And I don't want to like talk bad on my dad because he was awesome. But I remember...
But just like Cam, he also had like a fire in him.
Exactly. And I think that, you know, it's a worthy pursuit to learn what parts of you are out of control, so you can shape yourself into the person that you want to be.
And also, like, they're using these things that they're learning to, like, you know, go through their dreams and do things for positive reasons and stuff. So it's like, it's just all a matter of like energy and how you put it. It's like how you handle things, not what you're dealt with, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And here, I think that the opening scene that introduces Sylvie, we talked about this, about Prison Witch Volume 1 was so much about Cam meeting the Coven that we didn't show much about how it is to be in jail. Mm-hmm. I think that our biggest scene in Volume 1 about showing how it is to be in jail was getting Bean to the place where she needed to be, where she wanted to act out when she got beat up in the shower.
Yeah.
We did a lot of research. We watched documentaries, TV shows about women in prison, just like seeing how things were. But we also wanted to not be Orange is the New Black and not tell a story that's about the prison experience, but use the prison as a setting.
Yeah. Exactly.
But here we see a situation that we've seen written about, talked about, that women go through, that the male guards don't always understand.
Oh, with the feminine care?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Sylvie isn't able to get what she needs. He just throws a half-used roll of toilet paper through the door, you know?
Which, I mean, we can make it work.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like women deserve to have... Like, it's not... We don't ask for how our bodies work and stuff. Like, you should be able to be comfortable and, you know, clean in whatever environment. Like, no offense. Even if you break the law, you should still be able to plug your shit.
Of course.
Like, it's not like he's doing her a favor as the
and it's almost as if he's enjoying
it.
It's
like, it's like him acting like that. She doesn't need to be punished for, like you said, having her period or anything that she can't control.
And I've heard about that being like a thing in prisons in general, where just like every single thing has to be harder than it is because, like, I guess, you know, the people around and the people that work there, they think down on you.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, it was very purposeful here for us to start with Sylvie because, you know, she's the antagonist of Volume 2, but we don't want her to be looked at as a villain. We see through her perspective here, and we don't see what Diane tells her. We see her introduced as a sympathetic character who is then, you know, she goes into the antagonist role. But through the book, we confirm over and over and over that she believes something negative about specifically Rizzo, and through Rizzo, the rest of the group. She sees them as bad. Mm-hmm. And we don't know why, and don't even know by the end of the volume. That's a Volume 3 story. But yeah, we purposely show Sylvie as a not evil character. Mm-hmm. Even her magic, you know, she performs hoodoo. That's not portrayed as an evil magic. It's portrayed as different than what Cam is doing.
Yeah, and she actually goes into a dream state there, where you see her... It's not her childlike form. It's more like her manifestation.
Like her dream state, essentially.
Yeah,
I love how the art's done there, too.
Yeah, it's so cool.
With the dreams.
Is she accesses dreams in a different way than the others.
Way. Yeah.
With the others, you see more. Rizzo is tapping into what Cam is able to do with their child selves. You see them all portrayed as children.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sylvie, she's portrayed here as this sort of like amorphous being that appears to her humanoid, but appears to people that she's targeting as demonic.
Yeah.
But when you see her through her point of view, she's not demonic.
I like that it's like staticky.
Yeah, I like
It's
that
so
too.
sick.
Yeah.
Erica did such a good job. And this is, we ask of things that aren't necessarily traditional drawings.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? Like,
I sometimes think like, yeah, if I were the artist and I were like getting our notes, I'd be like, oh my gosh, this is a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, what do they mean? What do they
Exactly,
want me
like,
to
bitch,
do?
what?
Yeah. It's amazing that they understand.
I know.
Like,
It's a
what
crazy,
we
it's cool
want.
how the collaboration works.
It's so cool.
it's fun, huh?
Yeah, well, you have to imagine all these artists have that creative mindset
Absolutely.
too. So it's like they can put it together. It's awesome.
And sometimes even better than what I imagine.
Yeah, right.
Here, I love this lady who just screams, "Shut the fuck up!" at them
Yeah.
because they talk in the middle of the night.
Yeah, yeah.
And you see Diane. I almost did this as a prologue, just because I like prologues, but I don't know. It felt cool to have this black part of the splash page connect to the black panel of the 5 months later page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it tells a story in itself.
Yeah, Diane ends up in the same solitary, and they talk to each other through the wall.
Yes. And here volume 2, for example, with our other series, Destiny in New York, we mostly build long form arcs and have shorter arcs come to a start and conclusion in that volume. With Prison Witch Volume 2, this very much is an in-between volumes that, it tells its own story, but it's very much building toward Volume 3. Like, for example, here we have, we're starting the arc of finding out why Cam is called Cam Turner by the guards and on her record, but is asking to be called Cam Rivers.
Yeah,
And,
like she has family problems at home.
Yeah, we're getting much more into that this
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Yeah, because last time we had the name discrepancy and we had brief scenes about the brother
Yeah.
and the father, never the mother yet.
Mm-hmm.
We had here we're beginning to build toward the brother Jerry, who's based on Amy's brother Jeremy. Jerry
It's
is
a close name too.
yeah, it's so close. That is what I actually talked to Amy before this recording about, wanted to specifically talk about, is how, I grew up an only child, and I have 2 half brothers. Mm-hmm. Amy grew up with 4 brothers. So Prison Witch as a series has a major element of siblinghood. Mm-hmm. And the idea of being apart from a sibling and worrying about them, which we have as the arc here with Cam and Jerry.
Yes. Yeah, that's super close to home because I have 4 brothers and we're all pretty family oriented, and so they all live far away from me, so that's where this sort of stems from.
Yeah, and we'll build him into being a character who actually shows up more
Yes.
and actually appears here. And just real quick, I love the scenes of Sylvie hanging out with Big Mary and Trimmy.
Yeah, Sylvie's trying to figure out what group she might fit into or is going to use or anything like that.
Yeah, she clearly...
Where her place is.
Yeah.
She's in a very different situation than we last saw her. She was in solitary, and
Yeah,
now
now
after
she's
bonding with
out.
Diane, she seems to have some kind of power here,
Yeah.
And we brought her in here, and we didn't right away introduce her to Diane's gang because of how funny Big Mary was when she beat up Bean.
Yeah.
We wanted more Big Mary, you know?
Yeah.
And it was just so fun. And the interactions about where Sylvie and Big Mary and Trinity talk about the candy was just
Yeah,
so
the
fun.
candy. I was just gonna say.
So fun. Then here we have Cam fantasizing that she and Cat Lady aren't just masturbating together, but are actually having sex, which hasn't happened.
Yeah, she's got a crush.
Yeah, since they're bunkmates, they're actually getting a bit closer.
Yeah. And we learn more, too, about Cat Lady's marriage situation in that she's married, but as they learn to lucid dream, as we see about halfway through chapter 1, we see the spell that Rizzo has been working on that allows them to lucid dream, where previously Nama was able to use her power to take Tanya's child spirit in volume 1 to the grave. Tanya can't do that on her own. Rizzo is giving them the power here to do something more like that, to leave the walls of the prison in a way that previously only Cam could do while awake.
Yeah, they still meet up in the bathroom for these secret coven meetups where they perform their spells and everything.
And I feel like everyone in prison would want that to be able to do that.
Yeah, to leave the walls.
Yeah, in their dreams at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see Rizzo saying, tonight you will leave this prison. And that was powerful to me. The idea that it sort of gives them this agency.
Yeah, the prison of your body, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And the spell was written by Amy, the way that we write Prison Witch is very unique, I think. We co-write by first having a conversation, and then this is a bit different with Thirsty, but with Prison Witch we'll have a conversation, and I will text back and forth, and I'll make a document where I write what happens on each page, and then I give it to Amy, and she writes what people say on each page. And then I'll break it down to panels and like add my own dialogue, tweak it here and there. And that is how Prison Witch is written. All right, so then we see the dream sequences. We see what each person does. We see Cat. Do we see Cat Lady here? No, we don't. We see...
That's Cam with Jerry.
Right. We see not Cat Lady because she is pretending that she's not doing this.
Right. The lucid dreaming, she's pretending she's not doing.
Right.
Each girl is tying a string around their finger to keep them tied to the land here and able to go into the land of lucid dreaming.
Yeah. Yeah, we see Cam visit Jerry, and we see Tanya not leave jail and just go to a different cell to visit Georgie, who was banished from the group.
True, yeah.
And Georgie was a fun character because it always gets me as a reader when a character who starts out light and funny becomes like a dark and tragic figure.
Right.
Like who I think of a lot is Wesley from Angel, who starts as this like kind of like nerd, like
kind of dopey,
dopey, funny nerd. That's like a joke character, and then as it goes on, he becomes like this dark figure. Georgie started as this,
like I just want to go fast.
Yeah, I just want to go fast.
She's bubbly, a lot of energy,
loves drugs,
Yeah,
and then
unfortunately an addict.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
And then we made that aspect of her really serious. That she didn't take it seriously when Tanya decided to kill herself. Because she's not really all there, And I think that with Prison Witch, what we wanted to do was introduce these characters that are, they're engaging and likable and funny. But the more, like Tanya, talking about aliens and all this stuff, but the more that you spend time with them, the more you see why they're in this situation.
Yeah.
Not that they deserve to be
here. What's gotten in their way, like a drug addiction, how that could screw up their life or anything. Yeah,
like looking at the group, we don't know what Rizzo did, but we know that Cat Lady is a murderer, you know?
Yeah.
We know that Tanya and Georgie have drug offenses, Georgie steals, And the only one who I'd say is clearly unjustly being punished is Kalia.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
All right, so we see Sylvie appear in her demonic form in Cam's dream for the first time there. And what's happening, though, that's very interesting to me, that we never even talked about. We just wrote it. is that when, to me, I interpret it as an effect of Nama's magic being, it's a different form of magic than what Cat Lady uses or what Tanya uses. It's feral, When Cat Lady later on lucid dreams and sees something happening with her spouse, that isn't seen in the real world. She sees that through her dream. Here, Jerry experiences some form of this dream.
That's right, because he wakes up sick, right?
He wakes up sick, and he references it later on.
Right. Yeah. She can connect more. She speaks even a little bit, like Jerry, and he can almost hear it.
Right.
Like someone said my name.
So there's more of like a connection there.
Yeah, she can go to his current life where he is currently, where maybe like some of the others are seeing something that's past tense or who knows. Or, she's definitely able to accomplish more.
It's more of like a foreseeing kind of. She can actually feel and see that her brother's in trouble, kind of. Whereas like that might not be the case with other dreams that the other women are having. They're just like experiencing something that they want to feel.
Right. Yeah.
And here we have a bit of a funny interaction. Well, it's not funny. It's interesting between Roberto and Rizzo, where it is pointed out that other people are seeing their guard-inmate relationship as inappropriate. And that is, narratively, it's a foil to keep Rizzo from being able to figure out what's going on with Sylvie. They can't get in the bathroom to do their spells. They can only meet in public in the chapel, where they're limited as to what they can do. But it's also, it's interesting, because like an inmate and a guard really shouldn't have a personal relationship. But he's also the kindest one to them,
Yeah.
He's just like innately a nice person, so it like bleeds over sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, and here's just this whole candy conversation, Just I love to create conversations where it feels like you get to know the characters better in a way that isn't necessarily pushing the plot forward. It's just hanging out and stuff.
Conversation.
You know what we do show, though? We show here, this will be a little Easter egg for those who read a second time. Later on, Georgie is the one who ends up being the eavesdropper, who finds out information about Sylvie being the one who is sort of like beginning to connect Big Mary's sales business to Yana's control of Diane's gang. And you see Georgie just eavesdropping here,
Right. That's a cute shot.
Yeah. All right, the dream. We end with the bomi toast.
They're both getting sick after they wake up
in
in different places.
Yeah, this is based on, you would speak better to this than me, but I'll just start it out here. We read and watched this documentary about people who were experiencing a hex or a curse that would physically make them sick.
Yeah, that's heard of, Some people might debate it and stuff, but that's definitely something that happens, I think, at least.
Yeah, and it's the thing that, in this book, a lot of our themes in Prison Witch 2 are about, secrecy and shame, where both Cam and Cat Lady have these personal lives that they don't really want to bring into the prison. Cam doesn't want to discuss how she fears for her brother. Cat Lady doesn't want to discuss how she's seeing her wife with this guy. And if they appear sick and weak as a result of the dreams, they know that Rizzo's going to stop this,
Yeah, they all keep doing the lucid dream despite not feeling good, because what else is there to do in jail? And they can actually see their loved ones.
It's like a drug.
And they're obsessed with finding out what's wrong, what's happening in the dream.
Once you get that taste, you don't want to stop.
And here we have, in chapter 2, about halfway through, there's a conversation between Jerry and Cam. And actually, you can see here, I think, I'd never asked, I think that Erica Dierso drew me there.
I think that's
I think so, too.
So yeah, this is Cam and
That's
Jerry
funny.
catching up, and yeah, this I mean, it's it's written to be, you know, based on your relationship with your brother Jeremy,
Yeah,
and it just reminds me so much of you guys.
me too, because I wrote it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Really
and
good. It kind of even looks like Jeremy a little.
she's worried about her brother. Like
Yeah.
she's the older sister. She cares. She's worried about him. But Jerry isn't trying to make her worry, so he's kind of pushing it off. Like, oh no, I'm okay. Everything's
And that's
going
just like my
good."
real life brother too. So that's definitely based IRL, because my brother's always making a joke, always making a joke. Even if he's hurting, he'll joke about it.
yeah, and it's so hard to write this kind of thing too, because we wanted to keep it like this, where the information that Cam is getting about what's happening with Jerry is through someone who is not forthcoming. So we need to, as writers, satisfy the reader enough that they understand what's going on, but also keep Cam where like she'll end this conversation like, wait, what?
What the hell?
Yeah.
What? Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
You know, because that is, I mean,
Who's he hanging out with? What
yeah.
the hell?
I've heard you get off the phone with Jeremy, and I've been like, wait, why the fuck is that happening? You know?
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
What he said.
yeah,
Yeah, he ends up saying like he's got a plan to possibly get her out, and she's
Yeah.
kind of like, "Don't worry about that." Like,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah. Because the truth is too, like, Jerry is in this place where, you know, in Volume 1, Cam came into the realization about, even though she blamed the quote-unquote demonic activity on Nama, that was 100% her. So she knows that she hurt that woman, and that she feels that she can't fight the case. There's nothing to fight. She did it, you know? Whereas Jerry's like, no, my sister would never, you know? And then, all right, so we have one of my favorite scenes in Prison Witch history is Tanya and Bean, who are, you know, of everyone here, it's hard to describe, but Bean is kind of like a loner in the group.
yeah, she's being
Yeah.
like taken in by the coven, but also has no interest in being part of the coven,
Right.
But has nowhere to go almost.
She's like a lost puppy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
A lost feral puppy.
and that's kind of true of Tanya too, in that like she, you know, she isn't like the most aware. You know, she is sort of in this role where in Volume 1 she tried to end her life, so now she's being. That's why she was forgiven by Rizzo in Volume 1. She's being protected now and treated differently. So here you have these two kind of bonding, but what we don't say the whole time until the end is that through the whole conversation, Bean has to poop, and she wants the conversation to end, and she needs to get away from Tanya. You know, and then we have Bean interact with Big Mary again, which was fun because last time Big Mary was beating her up.
yeah,
You know, and it just shows how, you know, time moves on. You know,
yeah.
they're
And they
Boy
have
Mary,
to
you know?
run
Yeah.
into each other. They're all trapped in the same place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. This line right here is just Big Mary hears them talking about having to poop, and she says, "Little bitch, I don't give a fuck about you or your doo doo,"
Yeah.
and that I just love. She's over the whole beef, you know.
Yeah.
And then we see Big Mary actually get beat up by who we think is just an unrelated situation that we then allude later on. This happened because Sully wants to push Big Mary toward wanting Yana's protection, you know? And it's sort of the merger between Big Mary, who has no interest in being a gangster. Big Mary is someone who sells cigarettes and candy. She doesn't want to be a gangster. And all of a sudden, she has gangsters after her because she's, quote-unquote, encroaching on their territory. And it's just pushing Big Mary into the situation where she has to protect herself, but she doesn't want to, you know? But you have
That's
this...
how prison works.
you have this big, you know, big bully force of Yana here who has, you know, she has the power of Diane's gang.
Yeah. And you just have to make alliances pretty much.
I love being in this book, though. She's very, you know, she's a very different role than Volume 1.
Totally different.
Volume 1, she's just, you know, she is what you said. She's that feral dog
Yeah.
acting out. And she was sort of the inverse of Cam in that way. And Cam was like, no, when I act out, that's not me. And Bean is like, I only act out. You
Right.
know? And here she's sort of like given a reason to, for the first time, feel safe. You know? All right, so let's move on. Move on here. We see Georgie have her dream sequence here, which she learns from Tanya how to do the spell, and she interferes knowing what she knows about Sylvie, and she tries to protect the coven that has banished her from Sylvie and ends up fucked up here. And that panel
With the bloody nose.
on the bottom is harsh, dude.
Yeah, she goes into like a seizure, but all due to Sylvie. Like
Yeah.
Sylvie,
Because you can see here,
yeah.
she is basically attacked in her dream.
Yeah, Sylvie's essence is making the girls sick when they're lucid dreaming, or in this case, even completely attacking them in their dream. And she was able to induce a seizure in Georgie.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting that, you know, we write Rizzo in this way where she's all or nothing. She cuts people off like that. She cut Tanya off for stealing the Athame last volume. She cut Georgie off and hit her for what she did by not sharing that Tanya was in danger. And here, as soon as Georgie is in physical trouble, it's all forgotten, you know?
Yeah.
So here, I want to know how you both feel about this. This is fun, right? Where Cam tells Cat Lady her intention that she's not going to stop lucid dreaming, and that if whatever's been hurting them shows up again, she'll hurt it. And in fact, she says, "I'll kill them." And Cat Lady says, "I want to see it."
Yeah.
And we see her smile in a way that it feels like for the first time we see a bit about like why she's in jail, you know?
Yeah, right. That she's-
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like turned on by it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
but like you said, like Rizzo completely told them not to lucid dream anymore, and instead Kat was like, Cam was like,
Actually, no.
I'm going to do it tonight and kill her. Like, they're all rebellious people.
Definitely. I
Definitely.
mean, that's why they're in jail.
Exactly.
I love how Erica drew Cat Lady's child form here. That's all her tattoos.
And the little cat ears.
The
Yeah,
cat
so
ears.
cute.
And look at this. She looks Super Saiyan here with the aura.
Definitely.
The first page of chapter 2, chapter 3. We had the scene where Rizzo and Georgie speak, and Georgie tells Rizzo that it's Sylvie. And Rizzo, while Cam and Cat Lady carry out their lucid dream and have this dream battle with Sylvie, Rizzo goes after Sylvie in the real world. And one of the coolest parts about this scene to me is what we were talking about before, about how Cam manifests her power even in lucid dreams more potently, differently. Where Sylvie is able to manifest her physically through the illnesses, we've seen Cam able to start these fires.
Right.
So here, Cam sets Sylvie on fire through their shared dream. And
She's like, this is what I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I'll do.
Literally, Cam is in the dream trying to save her brother Jerry
Yes.
when that fight breaks out with her and Sylvie, and she ends up harnessing that fire in the dream, and like you said, actually brings it into real life, and the prison starts to go on fire while she's in the prison.
Yeah, it's so cool. Visually, seeing Sylvie wake up on fire was just such. Erica captured her reaction so nicely.
Because it blew her mind that someone else could do something as close to what she could do.
Yeah, and then the flames just arc out in this circle. It's so sick.
Yeah.
Actually, while we're on this lucid dream, because that was our final dream sequence, ends right here. When we were planning Prison Witch 2, I asked you what kind of magic did we not see. I don't know why I said not so, right? Sound like Gollum, dude.
Oh my god.
I precious, you know. I asked you what you wanted to see that we didn't see in volume 1, and lucid dreaming was the first thing you said. What about lucid dreaming interests you so much?
I wish I could do it.
Where would you go?
I don't know. I just think it's a really, really cool like skill if it's real. I still don't kind of believe it unless I would be able to do it myself, but I don't have the patience to practice like that.
Yeah.
I think you have to stop smoking weed too.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember my dreams at all anymore because of that.
It's true.
So I just think it's super sick. I love it.
Yeah. And visually, Erica was able to really create some stunning artwork for that.
I'm intrigued by it.
Yeah. Yeah, so now the prison is on fire. So everybody's got to get out. Rizzo.
You got the fire alarm going off.
Yeah, I love the ring.
Me too.
Like
It
throughout
really
every
says
panel,
something.
like it's so realistic to just pull you back in that alarm.
They
is
wake up to
going
it.
off
It's
this
just
whole
like,
time.
oh my god.
Yeah, the
I'm
way that-
triggered from when our alarm goes off for no reason.
The way that Jim has the ring arc up and down,
Yeah.
it feels like you're hearing
looks
it.
musical.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It feels like you're hearing it.
Yeah.
It looks musical.
And of course, within that's the chaos. I mean, Sylvie and Rizzo are now fighting in a
Yes.
scene. And Sylvie does end up getting protected by Big Mary and Yana. So she has a total crew protecting her just like Diane had when she was, puppet master. So.
Yeah. And we have two major moments here where Rizzo gets beaten up, as you said. And then we have Bean have her little hero moment where in the bathroom she felt cowardly for hiding while Big Mary was beaten up. And here she gets her moment to help Rizzo. She sees Rizzo surrounded by flames on the floor and looks to see how quickly she can get away.
Oh my god.
And then she picks her up,
Yeah.
Her haircut's fresh though.
I do like it.
All right, so
Oh, I love this scene.
one
too.
of my favorites, so intense. When I was wrong, this is that was the second to last lucid dream. The last one is when Cam begs Cat Lady to knock her the fuck
I
out.
love that. When you guys sent me this, like I immediately pictured this like in like a cinematic way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like someone being like yelling that knock me out. Like knock me out. Like how desperate and tough Cam felt in that moment.
Right.
Yeah.
That she could handle anything and like she wanted to be knocked out so bad.
She
and
was
how
on a mission.
Yeah, and how Cat Lady once again proving her side of
And
like
her loyalty.
Yeah, her loyalty and her side of being badass of like, all right, you really want me to? I'm
And
gonna
being a
hit
down-ass
you.
bitch,
Yeah,
basically.
I'm gonna hit you as hard as I possibly can. You know,
I love it.
And,
Such a weird bonding moment.
It is like that was romantic. No.
It was.
Yeah. But she knocks Cam out, and then Cam is actually able to reach her father
Yes.
and tell her father that Jerry's in trouble.
Yes, so cool. It's we see Nama in this. She looks like this like guardian here. She in volume 1 we portrayed her because Cam was scared of her. When she came out, it was scary. Here, it's anything but. I think.
No, she has like total control over Nama at this
Calm
point.
control,
Yeah,
yeah.
calm control. She can speak through Nama. She could have Nama go wherever she wants.
She's practiced now.
Yeah.
And we end volume 2, the main story with with the prison on fire. It's funny, we keep burning
I
things.
love that shot at the
Yeah.
end.
The shack in volume 1 we burned up.
That's Cam's whole thing.
It's fire, baby.
Burn it up. Just burn it up, dude. And then here we end with Cam essentially vowing to kill Sylvie,
Yeah, everyone gets out, but they now know that Sylvie is the one that was going in their dreams. And yeah, what does she say right at the end? She on this page.
Well, first Rizzo says everything that's been happening has been that monster. Everything that the monster's been doing to you, it's from another witch. Her name is Sylvie, and she's over there. And she's with Diane's crew. I don't know how she does what she does, but she's a witch. She's like you, Cam. And Cam says, okay, then I'll be the one. Rizzo says, the one to what? And Cam says, kill her.
Yeah.
Because she knows that Rizzo's magic is different. She's a green witch,
Yeah.
She doesn't know that Rizzo already tried to kill Sylvie,
Yeah,
physically. But yeah, we end with Cam in a very different perspective. Because chapter 2 ends with her saying, I'll kill her, or I'll kill it, with the idea that there's a monster. Now it's a human being.
Person, yeah.
And she's like, I'll kill her. Yeah. And then
that's the thing about Cam is like, she has, not everybody would be able to get there and be like, all right, I'm going to be the one. Like, other people might be like, oh, I hope someone kills her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, that's who Cam is. And she's learning to embrace it for the good. Yeah. Like, now she's going to kill her because it's for the best of her and her friends and her coven and everyone around.
Yeah.
But she still has the ability to do so. Like, she's very powerful is what she's coming to realize. Not just wild and uncontrollable. She's powerful and like strong.
Yeah, she's powerful, and right now she's in this moment where, we leave the book with Cam not sure that Jerry's okay. She goes to her dad saying he's here, help him this.
Because there's not much she can do, like, physically outside of the world of, the dream realm,
Nothing except make fire.
Except for make people known, too. Like, her dad and stuff.
And her focus isn't, like, to get out of jail. She's already in it, and she's embraced it as, like, this is where I live now. Yeah. And she's not, like, continually pining on, like, what can I do good to get out of here? You get wrapped up in jail life.
More important than getting out for her is her brother's safety.
Yeah, her brother's safety and then her friend's safety. So even if killing Sylvie, if she gets caught and she has even longer of a jail time, like for life or something, that's not her concern because she's so wrapped up in everything.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's how it is too in real life sometimes.
Right. You just, you're focused
it becomes
on
your
the
life.
current. Yeah.
Yeah. What you said about not caring about, well, not caring, but behaving in a way that she could get more time.
Even more time.
She, in volume 1, she is operating in a way where she is an inmate who's trying to pass the time until she's out. By the end of volume 2, she has become a much worse inmate.
Yeah, she's in it. Which happens to tons of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's pushed to it.
Yeah.
It's a system that's not designed
for rehabilitation.
At all.
Or the hope of getting out early or at all or anything, where it's just like they're in there and they're like, if I have to beat the shit out of someone or kill someone while I'm in here to survive, then I'm gonna do it. Like,
I mean, if this story was playing out outside of the prison, the amount of communication that Cam would be able to have with the other witches would be exponentially higher.
Oh, yeah.
This situation couldn't play out this way if they weren't being held prisoner.
Yeah, they're all in different cells. You're right. They can't communicate. Now, then they weren't allowed to meet up or anything.
And
so
they can't use the bathroom now.
Right,
yeah, and there's this shame where, like, even Kalia has to sneak when she and Sean can be together. There's this really... it confines who you can be and the things that you can do. And then we have this flashback story of Cat Lady, which it's a very short story, and it actually sets up some things for volume 3, where Cat Lady goes to prison, and she knows that it's a life sentence, so she plans to kill herself, and then she goes back on those plans when she discovers that that the cat that she's been feeding has had kittens, and she she sees this cat outside that she begins to take care of.
Yeah, outside the prison wall. By the gate type of area.
Right, and in the present we see that she's still feeding this cat and its kittens.
Babies.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's so telling because that's, I feel, very true of animals. Like, my best friend Alex has had issues with depression and stuff like that, and like her dog Milo, she was telling me that the responsibility of taking him out to walk him and feed him, and that something else depends on you, can save your own life as a human. Because like, even if you don't feel the need to, take care of yourself, if you're taking care of something else, you're innately taking care of yourself at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's like super important. So
Yeah,
I think
so
that
Cat
short
Lady,
story is really, really cool.
Yeah, she wanted to take care of something that she found, this cat, and it actually gave her a purpose to sneak food from the prison cafeteria.
And that's why there's like animal
out to the cat.
therapy and stuff like that.
Yeah, because we wanted to show that, you know, we've only seen Cat Lady in the context of murdering people over cats. We haven't seen her.
The good side of cats.
Yeah. So yeah.
Totally. Love it.
That's Prison Witch 2, you guys.
Thank you for listening. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Prison Witch 3 will be coming. Stay tuned for announcements. I'll be messaging everyone on Kickstarter when we have a date for our campaign. And and I think that's it. You guys have anything else to share?
No, it's all
good. Love you guys.